Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading, and apologies for my absence yesterday. My neighbour is doing work on his roof, and so there was loud cutting of metal sheeting until late into the night, and no chance of doing tarot yesterday, unfortunately, but gave me a day off, gave you all a day off too. But I'm back reinvigorated, and I have the uncommon tarot on the tarot table today. We are going to look at this uncommon tale. I'm being facetious, but we're going to look at this tale that the ghostwriter told. J.R. Moehringer, he was writing in the New Yorker, I think it was the New Yorker, about his experience as a ghostwriter. Rather strange that someone who is a ghost should more or less out himself in public. But anyway, he was talking about his experience with Harry and Meghan, glowing description of Meghan and how marvelous she was, but Harry, the temper in a very late night phone call, and insisting on some witticism being included in the book that J.R. Moehringer thought should be left out, and they almost fell out over it very badly. But it turns out that Harry had a flash of brilliance when he was mock kidnapped as part of his military training, and he'd come up with this witticism, and he said to J.R. Moehringer that all his life people had belittled his intellectual capabilities, and so he wanted to record this flash of brilliance in his book to prove that he's not a Dumbo, as I say, and his mother said, and many other people have claimed as well. The spare of very little brain. So we have the uncommon tarot on the tarot table, and just to warm up today we're going to have a look at Harry and his intellectual prowess or lack thereof, and we're going to see really how bright he is, whether he has got some sort of developmental issue. It struck me, and I mentioned it in the reading I did about his behaviour at the coronation, his demeanour, that he was behaving like a child, but worse than a child would, because there were children there who were behaving impeccably, albeit one had to be removed for a while for some rest time, no doubt with Nanny Maria. But Harry was just behaving appallingly, clowning around, and it might have looked okay when he was a teenager, when he was in his 20s, but as a man pushing 40, it doesn't look okay. So what's going on there? Are there issues? We have looked at that before, we have seen issues, but we're going to look at it again because it's obviously something that bugs him. And then our telling question really is, who has done the mocking? Well, tell us about the mocking. I want to know. Who's guilty of it, how it felt for Harry, anything that universe wants to tell us, and most importantly of all, the impact it's had on his life choices. We could say partner, life partner, the book, going off to California, all of that stuff maybe not thought through particularly well. And of course I have to remind you, because we're talking about something quite a sensitive topic, even though he raised it himself, we are in the realm of tarot for fun and entertainment and opinion and speculation. We read archetypal energy here. I nearly said intellectual energy. We are going to be looking at intellectual faculties here today, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. Please read it, form your own opinion. We have got Moon as our underlying energy. The moon. The moon is confusion, doubt, fear. Confusion, you could say mental confusion with the moon, because it is stuff that's in the shadow. It's stuff that's not processed, that's projected out, your subconscious, your fears, but just generally clouded mental faculties. Something that he's afraid of. He's possibly afraid of having to be, being found out as being a thicko. I'm trying to trigger people with that kind of terminology, and I'm not trying to demean him. His mother, as I said, was pretty critical of him and his mental faculties, and so there it is. If you find it offensive, I apologize, but we're dealing with someone here who does seem to be on the very low side of things intellectually. He has got other attributes. People always said he had great people skills, he had great EQ, not so much in the way of IQ. But anyway, so the moon card is interesting because it is that clouded, confused energy. And if he has got something, I know that, is it Beatrice? Princess Beatrice has got dyslexia. That's got nothing to do, obviously, with her intellectual abilities, but it's a learning kind of impediment. And if he has got things like that, he had things like that, he may be very fearful around the subject of learning and books and conversations and being shown up and stuff like that. So I have sympathy for him, I really do. So let's see this situation, the heart of this reading. What are we dealing with here? We are dealing with the Queen of Swords. Very interesting. In reverse. Swords, as I was thinking about this reading and picking the tarot deck, and just as I always do, I always give energy to it. I allow things to percolate and brew, and I thought swords have got to be coming out here. Swords have got to show up in this reading, and we already have the Queen of Swords in reverse. And that would mean, for swords, our mental faculty, your intelligence, your wit, how sharp you are, how strategic you are, how cunning, how shrewd, how wise. It's in reverse. So we have somebody immediately who is challenged at that level, and because it's the Queen of Swords in reverse, it's quite a high level of problem, and it may involve problems with women, teachers, people who are in positions of authority over him, even the late Queen, who often came across as the Queen of Swords because her birthday was an air sign birthday, her official birthday in June, Gemini birthday. So it might have been quite daunting for him dealing with women who were more intelligent than he is, and we know that he is married to someone who likes to describe herself as whip smart. Got him under the whip, I would say. So how bright is he? We're talking intellectual abilities here, not any other possible attributes. How clever is he? And what do we have? We have another page, another swords card. This time we've got the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is all about studying, learning, researching, communicating. He's got problems. He's got serious problems. Another sword card in reverse. And the Page is the Student card. Literal answer from the Uncommon Tarot. Yes, he had terrible trouble learning, but you don't need tarot for that, obviously. He was held back a year. He struggled at Eton. He had to be assisted even in his art projects by a teacher, and that led to some controversy. He did not make it to university. He seems to have been helped into Sandhurst. He seems to have left the army when he was faced with a desk job and exams and things that he couldn't pass, discipline that he wasn't ready for, all encompassed in this card, the Page of Swords. Definite problems, studying, problems as a student, problems when he was young, problems with learning, studying, writing, communicating, all of that. So he really does have a problem in that sense. And I've answered my next question in this card. This was the card to just tell us how bright he really is. Does he have an actual problem or something like that? Again, tarot, just speculating here. And we've already answered the card. Oops. That it's told me, yes, he does. He had problems when he was growing up, and he does. He has a serious problem. It's the Judgment card. It's called Awakening in this tarot deck, and it is in the reverse. Awakening, the Judgment card, is about literally seeing, lifting the veil and seeing through, having a revelation, having an epiphany, seeing the truth of something. When that trumpet sounds and the dead rise from their graves, they see the reality of the situation, of the nature of the world. He has got great difficulty in seeing the truth of situations. He also taken this card absolutely literally. That, what I was talking about, is at a sort of metaphoric level. This now, literally, Judgment card in reverse means bad judgments, mistakes, errors of judgment. He has got some problem with processing information and reaching conclusions, good conclusions about things. And we all sit and wonder, because it's also blindingly obvious to most of us by now, how the wool is being pulled over his eyes and how he's been hoodwinked and all the rest of it. And we all wonder how on earth these things can be going on right under his nose and he doesn't see things that go bump in the night. The strange merching, the minute he's gone somewhere else, they're a baby or a substitute baby, a doll kind of a baby, strapped on, walked. He never seems to see it. He doesn't seem to see what's under his nose. There it is. That's not telling me that it's a condition as such. It's telling me it's a problem. It's a consequence of his low IQ, is that he can't see the truth of situations. He can't analyze them. He can't judge them properly. He can't reach the conclusions that he needs to about things that are probably blindingly obvious to everyone around him, his friends, his family, his staff, whoever else was his courtiers, those kinds of people could all see through things that he can't see through at all. And that is really actually quite sad and probably has led to all this difficulty, but we'll check that as the outcome card of this reading. So tell us who was it almost sounds like bullying. All his life people belittled his intellectual capabilities. That sounds like code for they bullied me, they mocked me. So tell us about that, please, universe. Who, where, why, what, anything universe wants to tell us about that bullying. 5 of coins. I would say school with that card, because there is, we have 2 children there. We have it looks like a brother, and then we have what looks like a younger, carrying a younger somebody. Hard to tell what's really going on in that card. But let's put it like that. And the 5 of Pentacles, the 5 of Coins, is the outcast card, being left out in the cold. And I think that this goes back to Eton. And this is my speculation, purely my speculation. I'm reading energy here. I'm interpreting cards for fun. And my feeling is that this goes right back to school, that he has said William ignored him at school, and who wouldn't? Younger brother arrives at school, you're bound to ignore him. That's just what happens. But I think it was worse than that. I think he was really struggling, and he felt that Prince William could somehow have helped him, but didn't. His perspective, as I say, he does seem to have bad judgment, according to these cards on the tarot table today, but he does seem to have developed some resentment over this. His feeling of being left out in the cold, excluded, belittled by brother and brothers, acquaintances, friends, cohorts, that kind of idea. That's what I'm getting from that card. You could form your own conclusions from it, speculate, reach your, speculate yourselves on what it means and how you feel Harry experienced this belittling. But what impact has this had on his life and his life choices? We've already seen bad judgment, but what in particular does universe want to tell us today about life choices that might have come from not being that bright? We have got the 4 of Cups. And the 4 of Cups is the card of indifference, apathy, rejecting things, not putting effort into something, not really getting excited and enthused about something. He has rejected things that he could have benefited from. And one of the things that he's rejected is this cup of love that has been held out to him. No doubt from his father, possibly even from his brother, other people, friends. People have offered. It's interesting to me, we have a similar kind of energy here. Just pointing that out. In the 2 cards, people have offered him sympathy, help, love, guidance at an emotional level, and he has rejected it because he can't see where it's coming from. He can't form those conclusions. Someone else is possibly whispering in his ear about where all those things come from, and he can't unpick it and figure it out for himself. So things are being offered to him: sympathy, encouragement, support, guidance, love, and he is turning it down, just as he did a few days ago at the coronation. He was invited to that lunch, didn't go, because he thinks they're going to bully him, they're going to mock him, they're going to be mean to him, they're going to be spying on him, they're going to be trying to break him up with Meghan and all the rest of it. That whatever suspicions he has, because he can't see things clearly. We have the moon telling us that as our underlying energy. He's suspicious, he can't see things clearly, he's confused, and so he rejects things that are offered to him genuinely, and he misinterprets them, misconstrues them, and rejects them. Interesting little reading. I hope you found it interesting. I certainly did as I was doing it, and thanks for watching as ever, and I'm going to get on with the next one.